Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to my Wednesday night Intel update. Sorry for the delay. I've been super busy today. However, today I have a really good presentation planned for all y'all who are excited to know as to what happened yesterday during the congressional hearings regarding the UAPs and so on and so forth. So, my report today is about the Earth Alliance, the push for disclosure, and how the current administration, right, though the administration that is working with the alliance, right, I already made it clear there are multiple Trumps, and even 3i Atlas, and also the DOJ are pushing in order to uncover the truth beyond just the UAPs. Now, before I start my presentation to give you guys all the details, not only regarding what was revealed yesterday during the congressional hearing, but also some of the information that is happening from behind the scenes regarding the connection with 3i Atlas and so on and so forth. I do want to thank Hani Hovid for the super chat. Thanks so much. And I will get to the Q&A after the presentation. For those that don't know me, my name is Ishmael Perez, and I'm the author of those two amazing books behind me, The Secret Government, Invisible Architects, and of course, Our Cosmic Origin, both which reveal hidden truths, galactic history, and much more. And all of my books are available through Amazon. I noticed Arcadian is in the house. Thank you so much, brother, for being here. And any announcements other than me being at the Alien event this weekend? And again, I did get a couple of people that are only going to pay $60 by giving my name at the door. So I'm going to go ahead and have you only do that when you guys get there. Just make sure you guys give them my name, of course, so you guys get that special discount. Anything else? Let's see. Other than that, I think we're good to go. Are you guys ready? All right. Well, let's get right into it. So, for decades, the global elite, the shadow government known by many names, and the black budget defense networks have operated apparently beyond public scrutiny, right? Hiding the truth about not only the unidentified anomalous phenomena, also known as the UAPs, but also denying the truth about extraterrestrial contact and, of course, exotic advanced technologies, right, that could redefine civilization. But in recent years, my friends, a growing faction within the US government, known by many as the Earth Alliance, has been quietly working to dismantle the wall of secrecy. During the Trump administration, momentum build behind the scenes is taking place. There is an interstellar communication that is going on between the Earth Alliance and, of course, the 3i Atlas. I'm going to get into that in a little bit. And now with renewed efforts, strategic alliances, and the support of organizations like 3i Atlas, right, which is an organic interstellar craft that many people have been talking about in the last few weeks, which, by the way, is here to help activate those that are ready when it makes its close proximity to the Earth. But overall, they are all working together to push the full disclosure, which is going to be accelerating, especially after the hearing that took place yesterday. I know that some of you guys probably didn't have time to hear the whole hearing, but I'm going to be going through some of the important key highlights that distinguishes this hearing regarding UFOs to those that have happened in the past. Okay, this hearing was actually a little bit more better. They actually were able to disclose more information than usual, which was a good thing, right? This is the first step into a full public revelation of what's been happening, right? But for the first time, the Department of Justice, the DOJ, is actually becoming actively involved, not to suppress whistleblowers, but to protect them. And that was one of the highlights that took place yesterday in the congressional meeting, was the fact that now, under the new and you could say under the new faction, right, to the DOJ, which is no longer controlled by the deep state, is now offering protection to those that are ready to come forward, right? The whistleblowers. Whereas before, the whistleblowers were told not to say anything. But for those that are unfamiliar with the term Earth Alliance, it does refer to a loose network of patriotic military officials, intelligent operatives, and of course, civilian insiders who oppose the long-standing control of information by globalist factions and secret space programs. So, unlike the so-called deep state, the Earth Alliance is said to prioritize transparency, human sovereignty, and of course, planetary liberation. Just to make sure that my volume is all the way up, it sure is. Okay, great. So under the Trump administration, between the year 2017 to 2021, this is before Brandon stole, or just say the people behind Brandon stole it. Many within the alliance saw an opportunity to expose classified black budget programs, push back against elite cover-ups of alien contact, begin controlled disclosures of UAPs and hidden technologies. And through Trump himself, we could say that they did not directly reveal alien contact, but his administration did disclassify. They did disclassify Navy UAP footage in 2020, which was actually shown yesterday for the first time, okay? Which initiated the creation, of course, back then in 2020, of the U.S. Space Force, which, again, it is the public face of the secret interstellar fleet known as Solar Warden, right? This is where it's all connecting now, the positive secret space program and its connections to the Earth Alliance. So they issued a directives for greater transparency ever since 2020 around aerial threats. And of course, if Brandon or the people behind Brandon wouldn't have stolen the 2020, we probably would have had disclosure by now. Okay. But again, things took a different route. It is a 5D chess game. But in either case, these were moves that many believe were actually guided by the Earth Alliance members that were embedded within his cabinet and, of course, in the military command. So, while largely unknown to the public, guys, 3i Atlas has emerged as a coordinating hub between disclosure-oriented factions within government, the DOJ, and private sector contractors. And this explains why a lot of these private contractors like Lockheed Martin and Boeing, who were once working for the cabal, right, in the development of negative secret space programs, are now going to be working for the Alliance in the building out of Space Force, right, as they are now relocating over to Huntsville, Alabama. Anyways, 3i Atlas, which is short for intelligence, integrity, and interdimensional integration. Atlas is rumored to be, well, even though they call it a quasi-official entity, the truth of the matter is that it is an organic sentient, right? It was sent by the Guardians, coming from the center of the galaxy. And there is scientific evidence that the trajectory of 3i Atlas did come from the Sagittarius, which is from the central hub of the Milky Way, where the Guardians are apparently stationed, okay? So, one of the things that is happening right now, right, is that the 3i Atlas is identifying insiders that are willing to testify about UAPs, ET contact, and suppressed technology in order to give them protection. And that's one of the things that was, again, talked about yesterday during the hearing, is that for the first time in a long time, the whistleblowers who were once under an NDA, right, are no longer going to be hung if they say something, right? They are now going to be protected, which is a good thing. So it also provides secure legal pathways for them, of course. It also provides coordinates, briefings between the DOJ, the Congressional Committee, and, of course, former military personnel that were once, witnessing these, again, unidentified aerial phenomena, and so on and so forth. It guarantees their safety, in other words, okay? So their mission is not merely about declassification, but it's about creating an infrastructure for long-term disclosure, ensuring that whistleblowers are protected, heard, and legitimized. And my friends, this is the first step, right? Because now that these whistleblowers are going to receive protection, right, as coordinated by 3i Atlas and the Department of DOJ under the control of the White Hat military, things are going to be moving forward regarding full disclosure. Again, the military-industrial complex, which was controlled by the negative secret space program, known as the Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate, wanted to halt disclosure for another 50 to 100 years, right? However, the positive military programs, in collaboration with Solar Warnet, they wanted to push disclosure within the next few years. And this was since 2016, okay? So according to anonymous sources, 3i Atlas has already prepared over a dozen high-level whistleblowers, including former aerospace engineers involved in reverse engineering alien craft. And that's one of the things that was talked about yesterday, and I will go over that in a little bit. Also, X, three-letter agency, starts with a C, ends with an A, and NSA operatives familiar with ET liaison programs. Also, this includes scientists that were formerly under contract at locations like Wright, Peterson, AFB, and of course S4 near Area 51. Okay, so let's talk about the role of the DOJ from gatekeeper under the control of the cabal to gate opener now under the control of the White Hat military. Historically, the Department of Justice has played a gatekeeping role when it comes to these otherworldly craft, right? Often working to suppress leaks in the name of what? National security. Well, this was all done when the DOJ was fully operating under the control of the deep state. But under pressure from congressional reformers and, of course, internal Earth Alliance contacts, the DOJ's role is shifting. And a lot of it has to do with a lot of people that were fired after Doge investigation a few months ago. And of course, the DOJ was replaced with a lot of transparent people, let's just call it, people that are willing to tell the truth. So according to insiders, the DOJ is now drafting protective frameworks for UAP-related whistleblowers, preparing limited immunity deals for those involved in legacy secrecy programs, investigating private contractors who have illegally withheld information from Congress. In fact, recent behind-the-scenes meetings between DOJ officials and and 3i Atlas have reportedly focused on creating a new legal structure under disclosure protocols, which would allow insiders to testify without violating national security law. This is a critical breakthrough, my friends, as many whistleblowers have historically stayed silent due to what? NDAs, threats, or even fear of prosecution, right? But with DOJ protection now under the control of the White Hat military, these voices can finally step forward, okay? And this is what they intend to reveal. The Earth Alliance, which is working now with the intelligent operatives, the ET operatives at 3i Atlas, are not just focusing on UFO sightings anymore, because the truth of the matter is that a lot of these TikToks, right, that were described yesterday in the Congressional hearing are reverse engineered craft that our own private sector has been using, right? So what they are doing is they are targeting core truths that could actually change human history. The first thing that they are targeting is full disclosure of the existence of extraterrestrial contact. Multiple non-human intelligences that have been interacting with Earth for decades. Okay? This is all part of the disclosure. And of course, they're going to disclose the fact that some are benevolent observers, like the allies of humanity, who only watch, they don't interfere, right? The Galactic Alliance. Only when they need to, like when they need to deactivate certain nuclear plants, or when they need to neutralize certain intercontinental missiles in order to prevent a massive third world war, of course. But they're also expecting to reveal others that are very manipulative, like the regressives, right? That were involved in what? Abductions and hybridization programs. And this includes the mantis and the insectoids, not just the grays and the reptilians, well, the draconians, not all reptilians, of course, but also the recovery of non-human technology, crash retrieval operations that have led to the recovery of advanced craft, including those with anti-gravity and zero-point energy systems, reverse engineering programs that have been running since the 1950s, right? For those that doubt the secret space programs, which completely refutes the flat Earth psyops, these reverse engineering advanced anti-gravity aircraft have been operating since the 1950s. And also, what's part of this agenda is to disclose the existence of all breakaway civilizations. All breakaway civilizations, okay? Certain factions, primarily private contractors, that had been operating fleets of advanced spacecraft and have established off-world bases. All of this is in line to be disclosed, okay? These factions are considered rogue elements, of course, not accountable to any elected government, or they were, and of course, most importantly, the suppression of advanced technologies that have been held within the private sector since the 1950s. And these are the technologies, my friends, like clean energy systems that could literally clean our oceans and atmosphere overnight. Of course, every form of healing modality, advanced propulsion tech, that have been suppressed to protect the what? The fossil fuel economy and maintain global control structures. In either case, while not always overt, right? The Trump administration, we're talking about the Trump administration that is with the alliance, right? In the positive timeline, is playing a pivotal role in laying down the groundwork for disclosure, okay? Space Force, my friends, which was originally mocked by the unawakened. This branch now plays a central role in monitoring the UAP activity on Earth, in orbit, and beyond. Okay. Declassified UAP footage is also scheduled to be released. And yesterday, during the congressional hearing, they did release a lot of footage, my friends. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch it, but I mean, this congressional hearing was by far the best ever. Okay. We're actually getting somewhere now. Okay. Trump's Pentagon made public that the now famous Navy UAP video legitimizing years of pilot testimony be released. Okay. There's also been executive directives, orders that pushed intelligence agencies to release the UAP data within 180 days, which is a directive that began the current wave of hearings. And this, my friends, is what happened yesterday. Okay, this is in 180 days is what, 6 months or less, right? 180 days, about 6 months. So by the way all this is going, we're scheduled to have full disclosure between now and December, which, or even earlier, or even a little after. But overall, they gave Congress 180 days. Okay, and again, a lot of this is being pushed by the intelligences that are operating in 3i Atlas. So for those that did not know, 3i Atlas is already communicating with the Earth Alliance, okay, in preparation for the Golden Age. Sources that are close to the administration have claimed that Trump was briefed on recovered technology and ET contact, but was advised to delay full disclosure for national security and economic stability reasons, right? If you guys recall, back in 2020, the I think it was the Israeli aerospace, whatever his name was, Hashem, I forget his name, but you guys know who I'm talking about, right? He used to work for the Israeli, I believe their version of NASA, and he came out to disclose that the Israeli government is working with the Federation of Aliens and that Trump knows about it. And then, of course, months later, we had what? Paul Hellyer from, again, the NASA representative or the NASA version of Canada, also saying the same thing, Well, that was true. That was back in 2020. However, now that 3i Atlas is in our atmosphere, they're pushing the disclosure within the next 180 days. Okay, so within the next 180 days, we only have 180 days left to reveal to the general public everything that was hidden from us. Okay, nonetheless, the foundation was laid and the movement continues, right? With many Earth Alliance members still working from within government and intelligence circles to bring the truth to light. What was the name of that Israeli retired space cadet? I forget his name. One second, guys, because I used to know his name right by heart. Israeli space. One second. Let me just look up his name. I think it was Ahmed. 1 minute. Oh, Haim. There we go. His name was Haim Ashed. There we go. He's a retired. He was a retired general in the Israeli military intelligence, and he was the one. Haim Ashed. Haim Ashed was the one who came out in 2020, and he was like letting everybody know that Trump knows about it, that our government and the Israeli government is working with a federation of aliens. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure a lot of you guys heard about that. Well, anyways, what's happening right now is that 3i Atlas, right? The people, the aliens within 3i Atlas, the Guardians, are pushing public hearings more so than ever, right? They're also pushing more videos and document leaks. They're also supporting the whistleblower testimonies so they could be coordinated through 3i Atlas and protected by the DOJ. And eventually the truth will surface. Again, as of yesterday, the members of 3i Atlas, the Guardians that are operating within 3i Atlas, gave the DOJ 180 days. You guys have 180 days to let the people of the earth know everything. Full disclosure. Or else we're going to make an appearance, right? So eventually the truth will surface, my friends, okay? Whether it's released officially or forced out by undeniable evidence, it's going to happen, okay? You know, this is a turning point in human history, my friends, okay? We are literally standing at the edge of a paradigm shift like never seen before. The secrets hidden beneath the surface about our cosmic neighbors, our forgotten technologies, and our real history is about to rise, okay? It's about to hit the fan. So, thanks to the efforts by the Earth Alliance, who are courageous operators and the whistleblowers and organizations, interstellar organizations like 3i Atlas, we are going to witness a profound disclosure event never seen before in the history of humanity, okay? And this is no longer science fiction. This is a reality that is coming to fruition, one that has been hidden for too long, right? The time of secrecy is ending. The time for truth is now. So the congressional hearing on the UAP, transparency and whistleblower protection, has already been set into motion. And we were given 180 days, okay? 180 days. So yesterday, all right, the U.S. House of Representatives did hold a historic hearing, right, restoring public trust through the UAP, transparency and whistleblower protection, which was, again, coordinated through 3i Atlas. Convened by the task force on the declassification of federal secrets, the hearing represented a significant moment in the ongoing debate about government secrecy, unidentified anomalous phenomena, and, of course, the protection of whistleblowers who have come forward with evidence. And a lot of them did yesterday. Now, more are coming, okay? More are going to be coming. I believe there's going to be another hearing pretty soon. And that next hearing that's coming, since we're giving 180 days, is probably going to blow the lid off of everything, okay? The testimonies delivered obviously painted a vivid picture of firsthand encounters, government stonewalling, and the urgent need for accountability. The hearing began with Representative Anna Paulina Luna, who framed the event as a matter of national security, transparency, and public trust. She stressed that the UAP are not merely science fiction curiosities, but phenomena documented by trained military personnel. Luna also acknowledged the risk whistleblowers have faced over the last years, right? Noting how retaliation and stigma have actually silenced countless witnesses, right, under the control of the deep state, unfortunately. She also called for strong legislative measures to ensure service members and federal employees can report encounters safely without jeopardizing their careers. Okay, and this was all done yesterday under the direction of 3i Atlas. So, the whistleblower testimonies coming from George Knapp, who is a UAP journalist, is as follows. This is what he said. He's a veteran investigative journalist, George Knapp, who delivered a compelling account of government disinformation campaigns surrounding UAPs. Drawing on documents obtained through the Freedom of Information Act, Knapp argued that official dismissals of UAPs often directly contradict internal findings. He stated unequivocally that the phenomena are real, capable of flying information, demonstrating evasive maneuvers, and outperforming known aircraft. His testimony highlighted decades of denial and obfuscation by government agencies, fueling distrust among the public. Also, according to Jeffrey Nusatelli, who is an Air Force veteran, who was part of the meeting yesterday, Jeffrey Nusatelli, who was a former Air Force serviceman, provided dramatic eyewitness accounts from Vandenberg Air Force Base, and he described multiple incidents, including a massive rectangular craft the size of a football field that hovered silently for nearly a minute before accelerating away at impossible speeds. He also included that a bright object that vanished instantly after rapid maneuvers, and a smaller phenomena he described as fluttering like a butterfly near his home. And this was confessed by Air Force veteran Jeffrey Nusatelli yesterday. Okay, Nusatelli emphasized the psychological toll of such experiences, noting how the lack of official acknowledgement deepened his frustration. He stressed the need for robust whistleblower protection so that others would not endure the same silence and fear that he did. Also, Dylan Borland, an Air Force veteran, recounted a 2012 encounter at Langley Air Force Base involving a triangular craft roughly about 100 feet across. The craft emitted no sound, displaying a shifting or dynamic surface, and even disrupted his phone. He claimed that the object hovered directly above him before ascending to jet altitude in seconds without producing any wind or noise. Borland explained that after reporting the incident, he faced career retaliation, which left him disillusioned with the official reporting process. His testimony underscored both the extraordinary capabilities of UAPs and the systemic resistance faced by those who speak out. And there was also visual evidence yesterday. The most shocking moment of the hearing came with the presentation of classified military video evidence, recently leaked and authenticated, captured in October 2024 by an MQ-9 Reaper drone near Yemen. The footage showed a U.S. military Hellfire missile striking a glowing orb like a UAP. Instead of being destroyed, the orb remained completely unharmed, while the missile appeared to bounce off and explode harmlessly nearby. Also, lawmakers, including Representative Eric Borlison, called the footage Starling with an ing, and press witnesses on the implications. Knapp noted that this was not an isolated incident, but part of a larger archive of unreleased evidence withheld from both Congress and the American people. So, key themes here, right? Several themes emerged consistently throughout the hearing yesterday, my friends. The first theme that emerged was transparency versus secrecy, right? Witnesses argued that the government has long withheld or distorted UAP evidence, fostering mistrust. Whistleblower risk. The testimonies revealed career derailment, reputation damaged, and lives disrupted simply for reporting the truth. Also, yesterday, technological anomalies was disclosed, right? From massive silent craft to indestructible glowing orbs. The encounters defy current aerospace science. And last but not least, public accountability. Lawmakers were urged to ensure agencies cannot continue to suppress or dismiss evidence that belongs in the public domain. And so yesterday's congressional hearing, my friends, marked a pivotal step towards transparency in the realm of the UAPs and beyond, with testimonies from George Knapp, Jeffrey Nusatelli, and Dylan Borland, as well as the presentation of extraordinary video evidence. The hearing revealed a reality in stark contrast to decades of official denial. So, at its heart, the hearing was not only about mysterious aerial phenomena, it was about restoring public trust, protecting those who dare to speak the truth, and ensuring that the American people are no longer excluded from truths that could redefine our understanding of technology, security, and even our place in the universe. Okay? So the truth is surfacing, my friends. From Cold War near disasters to today's explosive UAP hearing that took place yesterday, the truth is no longer going to be buried anymore. So, yesterday, the United States Congress once again opened the floor to a critical public hearing on unidentified aerial phenomena, where representatives, whistleblowers, and multiple military insiders gathered to shed light on decades of government secrecy and the urgent need for disclosure. Okay? But the most haunting revelation tying yesterday's hearing, my friends, to the past came again from veterans like journalist George Knapp, who testified about a terrifying event that almost sparked World War III. And I'll get into that right now, which was an incident long buried in Cold War era classified archives. So, a leaked memo in the year 1982 titled "A UFO Hijacks a Soviet Nuclear Launch Base" was actually disclosed yesterday by George Knapp. Okay, so during the hearing, Knapp brought up a chilling declassified account also found in government documents about a 1982 incident in Ukraine, which was then part of the Soviet Union. So, according to multiple military witnesses and official reports, a UFO took control of a Russian ICBM, which is an intercontinental ballistic missile base, overriding command systems and triggering a launch sequence. All right. For 15 full seconds, the missile aimed at the United States prepared for launch with no input from Soviet personnel. So then, just as mysteriously as it started, the launch sequence stopped. No damage, no war. But the message was clear. Someone, or may we say something, right? The Galactic Alliance, well, then the Galactic Federation, had control over the world's most devastating weapons. And it wasn't us. So, I mean, God, if this isn't disclosure, guys, this is what was revealed yesterday by George Knapp, okay? This is huge, okay? This is really cool because we all know that since the 1950s, ever since we detonated the atom bomb, right, which was a huge alarm call to let the ETs know, hey, man, they're playing with weapons of mass destruction. Let's go over there and make sure that they'll blow themselves up. We all know that since then, there's been multiple sightings, right? And I think even Dr. Stephen Greer mentioned this, where there's been visual or evidence of ET ships over huge nuclear plants, preventing, of course, what would become a third world war. Okay, so then, just as mysteriously, okay, let's just continue here. So, why does this matter today, my friends? Well, this Cold War incident, right, that took place, that almost started World War III in the year 1982, is not just a historical curiosity. George Knapp argued passionately that similar events have happened multiple times across nuclear facilities worldwide. My friends, all this was said yesterday in this congressional hearing. That is big. Okay, that is good news. Now we're moving somewhere, right? Now we're moving forward in terms of disclosure. So both in Russia and the United States, there's been multiple sightings of unidentified flying saucers over what? Nuclear facilities, okay? And this was said yesterday. So the fact that this information was kept secret for decades shows just how far governments are willing to go to keep the public in the dark. But with increasing congressional pressures from representatives like Anna Polina Luna, who stated whether UAPs represent adversarial technology, natural phenomena, or something beyond human understanding, Congress has the responsibility to investigate and tell the people the truth. Okay, these stories are finally making their way back into the light. Well, thank you, Representative Anna Paulina Luna. Whistleblowers like Dylan Borland, again, a close encounter of the TR-3B kind, okay? And there was a lot of talk about the Tic Tacs, which are what? Reverse engineered craft that we have been using, our own secret governments, right? So in another gripping testimony, we had a UFO whistleblower by the name of Dylan Borland, who also shared his firsthand experience with a giant silent triangular UFO, a sighting early similar to numerous accounts of what many believe to be the TR-3B, a black budget anti-gravity aircraft developed by the US government, right? So Borland's account of the craft, the TR-3B, its scale, its movement, and the sensation of being observed resonated deeply with other military reports over the years. So, whether this was extraterrestrial or a product of secretive human engineering, which is that, right? Reverse engineered, Borland emphasized the need for full disclosure. And this happened yesterday, my friends. Okay. If it's ours, he said, if it's ours, right? Our own military's craft, we have the right to know. Okay. Quote, this is what he said yesterday. He's also said, if it's not, we deserve to know even more. Okay, this is what's coming from Borland's account. So, the new TikTok UFO video yesterday shocked Congress. All right. During the same hearing, Representative Eric Borlandson shared new footage taken in 2023 by the USS Jackson. The video confirmed by Navy Chief Alex Wiggins shows a self-luminous tic-tac shaped object emerging from the ocean before accelerating at impossible speeds, replicating the legendary 2004 Nimitz encounter, but with clearer evidence. Wiggins testified, there is something out there, and we should know as the people what it is. Well, the public release marks a turning point, right? Visuals, undeniable proof that these phenomena are not just myths or misidentifications, but real physical events witnessed by trained military personnel. Well, another thing was exposed yesterday for the first time in this congressional hearing, guys. And this was a bombshell, right? that there is life on Mars, or at least evidence that there is life on Mars. Again, I don't know if you guys watched it, but for the first time in history, we are actually getting somewhere now. Okay. So, adding another layer to this unfolding cosmic puzzle, a worker in NASA did reveal this week that a rock sample collected by the Perseverance rover may contain signs of ancient life on Mars. Well, one of the things that I teach in my cosmic origin is the entire cosmic history. And for those that have taken my course, you know that there's been life on Mars for millions of years, right? And there's evidence of that. Well, it was disclosed by this guy that I guess he's a whistleblower from NASA that leopard-like patterns were found in the dried-up river delta that may be biogenetic remnants of human life, possible fossils of microscopic organisms that lived billions of years ago when Mars had liquid water. And there is evidence, my friends, that Mars once had an active ocean, a living atmosphere capable of harboring biological life. Okay. But for those that have taken my course, Our Cosmic Origin, you know what happened 4 million years ago during the first seeding of our solar system, right? There was a huge war, right, between the Draco Empire and the Federation, a war that reached our solar system and completely destroyed the human colonies on Mars, Venus, and all of the other planets. Anyways, if you guys want to know more about that, my class starts September 20th or the 21st. Go to my website and take our Cosmic Origin class. That is mind-blowing, okay? All right, let's continue here. So while unrelated to UAPs, this finding deepens the broader conversation that there was life on Mars. If life existed or exists currently on Mars, and we do know that breakaway groups had repurposed the Mars colonies, right? Or they at least established colonies on Mars since the 1940s, right? And even on other planets. The question is, how long did they know about this, right? And what else is being withheld? Okay, well, this was another topic that was discussed yesterday. So there is a huge push for disclosure, my friends, overall, right? There is a huge push for disclosure. I have no more water. So with mounting testimonies, declassified documents, and undeniable visual evidence, the pressure is building on government agencies to come clean. The truth lies in black budget aerospace projects, interdimensional visitors, misidentified natural phenomena, and one thing is clear, that the people have the right to know. So our Representative Luna, Representative Borlison, and others continue pushing for transparency. It's believed that it's more important now, more so than ever, right? And people need to stay informed, right? And people need to demand accountability. So certainly, we are definitely expecting something major, within the next few months. Okay, again, we were given 180 days, guys. We were given 180 days by the Galactics and the Guardians to disclose everything that our government has been hiding from us for decades. So, upon request, I also want to talk about CERN and HARP and the Galactic battle for Ascension. So in 2014, during a little, you could say, published U.S. Senate hearing, David Walker, the Air Force Deputy Assistant Secretary for Science, Technology, and Engineering, made a stunning admission in response to Senator Lisa Murkowski's question about the closure of HARP, which is a high-frequency active auroral research program. And Walker confirmed that we are moving into other ways of managing the ionosphere, okay? So this short statement confirmed years of speculation that HARP was not just a scientific research project. It was a system designed to inject energy into the ionosphere, influencing weather, communications, and even human consciousness. Despite the fact that the mainstream sources media downplayed this significance, many within the awakened community have recognized this as a window into a deeper agenda, a war being waged not only on the Earth's surface, but in the energy fields and in higher dimensions. So, originally based in Gacona, Alaska, HARP utilized high frequency radio waves to excite the ionosphere, the electrical charge upper layer of the Earth's atmosphere. Officially, the goal was to improve radio communications. Well, that's what they told us, right? And navigation systems. But the truth of the matter is that independent scientists working for the shadow government and whistleblowers that defected from that painted a more troubling picture, right? Well, where do you guys think all this weather modification technology came from, right? Geoengineering, the capacity of creating droughts, floods, it all originated with HARP, okay? Including the ability to mind control people through frequency and, of course, control people's moods, manipulated through electromagnetic frequencies. It was all done through HARP, okay? Not only that, but HARP was also designed to disrupt the Earth's natural resonance, including the Schumann resonance, okay? So the Galactics had to, of course, step in, okay? So following HARP's apparent closure, David Walker's mention of other ways pointed to next generation technologies likely developed under the umbrella of DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency. This included space-based directed energy weapons, frequency-based targeting systems, and HARP-like facilities scattered around the globe. Well, there is no coincidence that HARP was also coordinating or working together with CERN, which is, of course, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, right? Located in what? Switzerland. And it's also known as the Large Hadron Collider, okay? I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of CERN, but there was a more deeper negative agenda behind it, right? Even though we were told that CERN was designed to smash particles at the near speed of light in order to what? Discover the moment that the universe it created itself, right? Going back to the Big Bang or the God particle, as they call it. But that was all a cover-up, okay? It was all designed for nefarious purposes, okay? There was a darker implication regarding CERN that many whistleblowers, including former CERN insiders, have disclosed. And that includes experiments that destabilize Earth's magnetic field, the creation of mini micro black holes, right? They tried completely throwing our Earth into an alternative universe where there was no ascension. Also, the opening of interdimensional portals, right? The idea of allowing dark entities to permeate the Earth realm, and also contact with non-terrestrial intelligence, but not the benevolent ones, okay? So this is information that was revealed by defectors that were actually working for these darker programs that were a part of the CERN network. The Large Hadron Collider layout included the statue of Shiva, which is what, according to the Hindus, is known as a destroyer, and the underground placement and symbolic architecture that has only fueled, of course, the truth about why CERN was created. And even though many believed it served a dual purpose, the truth of the matter, according to the whistleblowers, it was designed to destroy the positive timeline. And the reason they failed, my friends, was because of the galactic interference. Okay, so for those that didn't, you could say, for those that have no faith that there is a God, right? That there are these positive, benevolent extraterrestrials aliens, whatever you want to call them, that are like the angels of the Bible, um, you know, you have to open your eyes, right? You have to open your eyes that if it wasn't for the positive help that we've been receiving all these years, we wouldn't have made it this far, my friends. We wouldn't have made it this far, okay? Um, so, from behind the scenes, the Earth Alliance, in collaboration with the Galactic Alliance, have actually neutralized a lot of the dark projects that were initiated by CERNs. And part of that neutralization was to neutralize harmful frequency weapons, right? We were supposed to have some sort of a zombie apocalypse after that, right? Remember that? Part of the mission was to also block unauthorized dimensional breaches. They were supposed to allow a lot of these dark entities in, and a lot of those were blocked, thank God, due to the galactic interference. Also, to safeguard the Earth's natural ascension timeline, right? And that was the reason why the Galactics had to intervene, okay? So, members of the Earth Alliance are said to have reverse engineered advanced scalar and plasma technologies that can actually restore atmospheric balance and harmonize the ionosphere, okay? Some operations involved covert satellite warfare, energy field stabilization, and the exposure of rogue scientific agendas to the public, which is part of the disclosure, by the way. So, beyond the Earth, of course, the Alliance is receiving orders from the Guardians, right? The positive extraterrestrial civilizations, often referred to as the Galactic Federation, but now they are known as the Galactic Alliance. And included in that is the Andromedan Council, the Pleiadian, I think I said it right this time, Pleiadian, there we go, High Command, that have long been monitoring the Earth's situation, okay? So these beings that have always been operating from the fifth dimensional level of reality and higher have been deeply invested in humanity's evolution, my friends. And this is the reason why the nefarious activities conducted by those behind CERN failed. While they honor free will, right? The Galactics, they always honor free will. They just don't openly intervene like the other ETs have done. They're also bounded by cosmic law to intervene when planetary life is at risk from artificial timelines or extinction level manipulations. And that is the reason why a lot of these nefarious projects that were conducted by CERN failed. Okay? According to multiple contactees and, of course, transmissions, positive ETs have disabled certain CERN experiments that threaten to tear open unstable dimensional rifts, including creating a miniature black hole that would have sucked up our solar system within minutes. And that would have been the end of life as we know it, thanks to the Galactics and the Guardians. Also, they have neutralized HARP pulses that were intended to trigger earthquakes, massive earthquakes. I'm talking about 9 point and above, or mass disorientation, right? And that would have been devastating. Also, they have assisted the Earth Alliance by telepathic downloads with advanced tech sharing and multidimensional oversight. And one of their primary goals has always been to what? Ensure that the Earth completes its shift from 3D into 5D. Right? Which is a what? A vibrational upgrade affecting consciousness, biology, and all planetary systems. Therefore, my friends, that is a reason why ascension is inevitable, right? So, despite the technological warfare and multi-layered manipulation, Earth is on track for ascension. And I forgot to mention the date. The date is the 10th of September. And yes, my friends, we are still steadily on a positive timeline trajectory, per se, per the Guardians and the Alliance. Thank you. The increasing solar activity, right? The DNA activation and mass awakening of human beings all point to what? A planetary shift that cannot be stopped. It could only be delayed, but it cannot be stopped. And it has been delayed. But we have 180 days. We have 180 days to disclose everything. Not we as in us, but you know what I mean. The governments. The cabal's attempt to control the ionosphere, open up the portals, and hijack the planetary grid are signs of what? Desperation, because they know that their time is short. The Earth Alliance, which has always been guided by higher dimensional forces, is working tirelessly to restore the Earth's organic timelines, or in this case, to preserve it, because they are going to restore it, but also to protect the biosphere from artificial intrusions, and ultimately to prepare humanity for first contact and galactic citizenship. We have 180 days to do all that, okay? Now, in conclusion of today's presentation, my friends, HARP, DARPA, and CERN, even though they symbolize advanced technologies, and they also reflect a deeper battle, one between control and consciousness, the manipulation of the Earth's skies, the energy fields, and the timelines have been underway for decades. But with the activation of the starseeds, the light workers, and the unwavering guidance of positive ETs, who have now given us 180 days, not us, but the governments, to give us the full disclosure, or they're going to make an appearance and do it for them anyways, okay? Humanity is not alone in this fight, period, right? Period. So a new dawn is rising as a result of that. Not because the controllers have allowed it, but because the cosmic plan demands it, okay? The Earth is not merely a planet, my friends. It is a sacred vessel. It is rising through dimensions, and it is protected by many and, of course, forgotten by a few. But the point is this, my friends, is that God is in control. There is a God, a prime creator, who completely prepared us for this day, right? And who is securing that the earth makes it all the way through, okay? And this is where everything's heading to. This is where everything's heading to, my friends, okay? Now, I do want to let you guys know that I have a few openings left for my September courses. My classes begin on the 19th, 20th, and 21st of this month, which is in 2 weeks, not this weekend, but next weekend. I still have some spots left. If you guys want to get mind blown, take my Ascension 2.0, take my Cosmic Origin, and while you're at it, for those that just are barely getting their feet wet, I do have Ascension 1.1, right, which describes the transition from 3D to 5D and what it requires, and much more, of course. So go to my website or cosmicorigin.com in order for you guys to secure your spot. And yes, my classes are very interactive, guys. It is done through a Zoom where you guys get to ask me questions in real time. It's like being on a FaceTime chat with me. So, just don't forget that it is an interactive class. And also, for those that are interested, I forgot to mention the Folium. There is a natural holistic product that completely eliminates all metals, that stuff, spike proteins, nanoparticulates, you name it, right? Including radiation and parasites, so that your body is clear of all of the stuff that is blocking our third eye, that is holding us down, that is blocking our intuition from enhancing. So this is the Folium, right? This is the one product that has no side effects, that is capable of clearing your body out from all of those little invaders, right? All of those little nano invaders. Let's call them nano invaders. And the link is always in the description. I see Starcadian is posting the link in the chat. Thank you, brother, for doing so. I appreciate that. All right, guys, it is about that time to do Q&A. So let's open it up for Q&A. All right, where am I? There I am. I do want to give some shout outs. Project Skyfalls is in the house. Joshua Luke is in the house. Overwhelm 25 8. Patricia Secha, Deborah Weiss, at Angela Hayes. Tino Petronzio is in the house. Kim Else is in the house. Peggy Baker. William Ryan, Greg, and all 2,400 people, including Sarah, Silver Earth Girl, MJF, Elevate is in the house, Starlight, William Ryan, Josephine Lynch, and Greg. And again, all 2,400 people that are in the house. So you guys know the drill. Make sure you guys type your questions in capital letters so that I could bypass the chat. That would be greatly appreciated. All right. First question of the day. And remember, guys, I'm not going to be going live this Saturday because I'm going to be at the Alien event in Vegas at the Alexis Resort and Casino. So I'm not going to be going live till next Monday. So this is your opportunity to ask me questions. Do you guys have any questions for me? No, I don't know Charlie Kirk. Somebody asked me if I knew Charlie Kirk. No, I don't know who he is. I did hear about his death today, but I didn't know who he was, and I heard that the deep state was involved. That's all I know. But yeah, I heard about his death, but I don't know who he was. Was he an actor? Was he a politician? Who knows? Yes, the 180 days did start from yesterday. As of yesterday, the Earth Alliance was given only 180 days to disclose everything to the Earth populace in preparation for the Golden Age so that we could become part of a Star Trek society. And that's one of the purposes of Three Eye Atlas, by the way. Three Eye Atlas is not just here to make an assessment, guys. Right? It's not just here to catalog what's going on and see who's ready to ascend and who's not. Three Eye Atlas is here taking care of business, making sure that there is a full disclosure. Okay, Charlie Kirk was a red-blooded patriot, a white hat, in my opinion. Oh, wow, I didn't know about that. See, that's interesting news. Maybe next time, maybe when I go live on Monday, I'll do a full report on that. I'm going to have to ask Commander Valiant Thor to give me the whole spiel on who Charlie Kirk was. And then I'll have a detailed presentation as to what happened to him. But as of now, guys, I really don't really know. Thank you, Joyful, for the super chat. My first super chat of the evening. She says, did you just said that the disclosure is pushed back again until March? No, I didn't say that. Not at all. What I said was that our government was given 180 days by the Three Eye Atlas operatives or commanders to disclose everything to the Earth, to disclose everything to the general public. That's what I said. So everything's leading towards now in December. I say things are going to be happening, especially as Three Eye Atlas gets into close proximity to the Earth. That's when I believe things are going to hit the fan. Yes, I did hear that Obama's impeachment is underway. Yes, that is true. That is true. He's going to be the first public arrest, I heard. Thank you so much, Grand Pal, for the super chat. What about Skinny Bob? Skinny Bob. Are you talking about Hillary's husband? He's going to be arrested too. Well, you mean the actor, okay? The real Bob, Hillary's husband, was actually taken out to Gitmo years ago. So right now we're just witnessing the actors, right? The replacements, the inorganics. But yeah, even they're going to be taken out, guys. All right, Teresa de la Vega saying Charlie isn't gone. That's just part of a movie. Is that one of those things where it's like, Marilyn Monroe isn't really gone, Princess Diana isn't really gone, JFK Jr. isn't really gone, Charlie isn't really gone, right? Well, like I said, I'm going to have a full, detailed presentation on him next Monday during White Hat Report. Okay. All right. Somebody's saying he's really dead. All right. So some of you are saying that he's not. Some of you are saying that he is. Well, I guess we're all going to find out next Monday, right? And somebody's saying it's a false flag. Everybody has different opinions here. I'm looking for questions. I'm looking for questions. Well, Sherry Schoen is saying, yes, I agree. I feel Charlie isn't gone either. Totally false flag. Okay. All right. Interesting. I guess we're all going to find out. Somebody's saying that video was totally AI. Okay. When do we get our abilities? Good question. Um, I would have to say between now and the end of the year, I believe that we are going to have a flash, at least the first one. But that's my opinion. Yes, Nibiru is coming. Yes. In fact, Three Eye Atlas, believe it or not, is it's the predecessor of Nibiru. It is Nibiru is the brown dwarf star. So you could say that Three Eye Atlas is actually one of its satellites. So yeah, it was dispatched by Nibiru in order to prepare us for the coming of Nibiru. And Nibiru is known as the purifier. No, Enki is not on Nibiru. Again, Enki slipped into an alternative timeline or universe to try to escape galactic tribunals. But at the end of the millennium, he will be facing justice. Thank you so much, Nathan Taylor, for your super chat. So when we ascend, can we just manifest $1 million? That's possible. Well, the best way to put it is in the fifth dimensional reality, there will be no money. You'll be able to just manifest at the speed of light by just thinking whatever you wish or desire. So we're going to go beyond money. In fact, the quantum financial system only works within the fourth D Earth or the fourth density Earth, which is where many are going. want to give a shout out to Valentina Sunshine. Hi, Valentina. Hope you're doing well, sister. All right. I'm just looking for questions. You guys are just chatting. Any thoughts on Gene Decode? No, no thoughts on Gene Decode. I think he's doing a marvelous job in disclosing information as well. What is causing 3i Atlas delay to late December? Good question from Rachel. It's decided to park between Mars and the asteroid belt. It's just kind of anchored right now. It's not fully moving, but it's going to start moving again pretty soon. So it was scheduled to be here by the end of October, but it seems like now it's going to be coming by December. I don't know. It could still be here by the end of October, but all I know is that it took a few days off to just park itself between Mars and the asteroid belt. Thank you, Nathan Taylor, for your super chat. And your question is, so when we ascend, can we just okay, I think I've already answered that. I'm getting the same super chats. Is Nicera true? Yes, Nicera Gacera is true. Absolutely. Are there any events happening tomorrow on 9/11? I don't think so. I don't think so. Isaac Whining is asking me, what is 3i Atlas? Well, I did already 2 huge reports on that. I would suggest to all my new subscribers to watch all my videos for the last few weeks to kind of get up to speed with all of this info. But it is a cosmic sentient interstellar fleet that was sent to us that is a part of the Niberian Battlestar planet that is already returning to the Earth. Or it heralds the return of Nibiru, in other words. Thank you, T. Sinclair, for the super chat. Hello, Ishmael. Hope you are well. Do you know what role the Greek god Ares plays in the super soldier program? Good question. Well, from what I was informed, is that the heroes of old, or at least those that were associated with the Guardians, like the children of Zeus and Lil, were actually part of an extraterrestrial super soldier program. So through what is known as Project Oak Tree, they were able to revive that program in the 1970s and 1980s. So some of you have genetics from Ares, genetics from Zeus, genetics from Hercules in your genome that were given to you to fight in the interdimensional war against negative AI. Okay, so yeah, Ares did play a huge role in the super soldier program of old, and he continues to play a role in the super soldier program in our time frame, you could say. So to answer your question is yes. It turns out that through Project Oak Tree, there was a revival of the superhero genes that were inserted in certain humans and certain star people, star seeds that are now star adults, of course, because they were all born in the 70s and 80s. And that explains Max Spear. But apparently, there were only like 49 individuals that were picked to be part of Project Oak Tree, which was the revival of the gods of old in modern times so that they could go fight in these off-world wars against the negative aliens and the, of course, negative AI. Good question. Yes. So yeah, the gods of old and their children were part of an advanced extraterrestrial program that were a branch of what is known as Radiant Guardians, connected to Cosmic Rescue Mission, which was actually initiated millions of years ago. I think maybe even a billion years ago in another universe, even before the creation of our own, uh, you could say, society. That program was initiated. So there are these things called extraterrestrial super soldier programs that were designed to fight the negative AI in other universes. And these programs are apparently off world. Okay. They have been, I think they've been going on for billions of years. I don't even know why I said millions, maybe even billions of years, but they've been going on for quite some time. And I'm actually going to be talking about that in my next book. My next book that is unpublished yet. All right, I have another super chat from Nathan Taylor. Thank you so much, brother. I know when we ascend, we will be telepathic, but will we know all other languages like Spanish, etc.? That is a good question. I don't even think language is going to exist, but if it does, I'm sure we're all going to be capable of understanding every language. In the fifth dimensional Earth, of course. That's only possible in the fifth dimensional Earth. Um, Charlene Sanctusi is asking me if I'm going to be part of the first Ascension, and will I continue giving you guys updates? Um, I guess we're going to find out, but I'm always going to give you guys updates. As long as I'm here, I'm always going to give you guys updates. And of course, I'm going to continue giving you guys information regarding, even things that are going on beyond this world as they are coming in, of course, as I get the transmissions from the Galactics and Commander Valiant Thor. Where are the Tartarians? Good question. The Tartarians have slipped into an alternative Earth reality. I heard that they actually, just like the Mayans, that they ascended to the new Earth, and they're already there. So when we enter the new Earth, the Mayans are going to be there, the Tartarians are going to be there. It's going to be like a reunion, right? It's going to be a great reunion, guys. No, okay, this is a question. When you say that the actors' doubles are from central casting, do you mean the central casting like in LA? No, those are two different central castings. The shadow government has its own version of central casting than the central casting of LA. Those are two different things. Thank you guys. I do appreciate the super chats, by the way. It does help, comes a long way. And thank you, Joanne E, for your Zelle donation. Thank you, Susan K, for your donation, and Jennifer Carter. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. My Zelle donation is through my email, projectrestorationzion@gmail.com. All right. Let's continue here. Is Inner Earth 5D the same? Yes. In fact, the other continents that many assume are beyond the ice wall are actually inside the Earth. And those advanced civilizations are existing in in the 5D. Yes, that is correct. Will there be Q phones? And the fourth de-earther will be. Good point, Dean Tomlinson. He says, we are living in the end times, but instead of being the end of the world like Revelations in the Bible, it is actually just the end of the world as we know it. That is correct. Yes, we are scheduled to getting the Golden Dome very, very soon. I just don't know exactly when, but it's in the books. So many questions, so many questions. But I'm only going to take one at a time. Yeah, next week I'll go over a little bit about Charlie Kirk. I wasn't able to ask Commander Valiant Thor to give me the full rundown on him as I prepared this live based on the congressional hearing yesterday. And yeah, so again, I'm not going to be broadcasting this Saturday, guys. So um, I will, yeah, I'll be here back, what, next Monday. Um, so many questions, so many questions. Let's see. Am I a super soldier? Well, I remember I was talking about the extraterrestrial programs. I don't work, or I didn't work for Solar Warden or any off world program based out of Earth. I worked for an extraterrestrial program that was a branch of Radiant Guardian. So, in that regard, yes, I did serve in that three times actually. And I still do. And you know, in other realities, I'm still serving uh, in the space war or in the cosmic war against AI. But if you guys want to watch my interview with James Rink, I go more into detail regarding my involvement with the off-world programs, the off-world super soldier programs. Ishmael, you mentioned something about a lower reality that man cannot escape from. That is the digital world. That is, yeah, that is the metaverse, according to Mark Zuckerberg. You don't want to be involved with the metaverse, right? And that is what the technocratic dystopian timeline is all about. It's about shifting people's consciousness into a digital world, a fake world that is no longer natural, organic. So that's the reality that is hard to escape from. Once you're kind of trapped into the digital realm, it's going to be very hard to escape. All right, this is a question from Rachel Montellone. She's asking me, um, what can you tell us about the mothership that is currently coordinating the monitoring of all ascending that is positioned just above the planet? I see the bridge of that ship daily in meditation. You must be referring to the New Jerusalem. The New Jerusalem, along with the dove, the Capricorn, um, and the what's the and what and the Pegasus are all working with Three Eye Atlas and Nibiru. So the main one, though, is known as the New Jerusalem. All right. I just read your email, Randy. You're saying that the light is distracting. That's the only light I have right now, but I think I look fine. I think everyone could see me. Thank you, though, Randy. I appreciate that. Um, let's see. More questions. Are you aware of Michelle Fielding? Yes, I am. I actually did a live with her about a year ago. Sheila Pina is asking me, can you tell me where to contact Monica for chakra healing? Well, I tell you what, Sheila, reach out to me to my email, projectrestorationzion@gmail.com, and I'll give your information over to Monica for chakra healing. Yeah, that's what Monica does. That's what my lovey does. She does crystal healing, chakra healing, energy healing um, through her tools that she has. Yeah, apparently I have a lot of new subscribers. I've done lives with Simon Parks, Laura Eisenhower, Lily Nova, Michelle Fielding, um, and they're all in the history of my life. So for all my new subscribers, if you guys want to watch those lives, they're all there. You just have to rewind a year or two ago. Is the Folium back in stock? I'm not sure. I think Folium PX was out of stock, and only Folium Immuna and Folium Relax were in stock, so I'm not sure. But as soon as it's back in stock, I'll let you guys know. Does our star family monitor us from the sky? Yes, they do. Project Skyfalls is asking that question. Yes, they do. Is the CERN collider responsible for the Mandela effects? Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, it could have been worse. Some of the things that they were trying to do with CERN were extremely nefarious. So yeah, things could have been worse. But if it was, like I said earlier, if it wasn't for the intervention of the Galactics and the Guardians, we would have never made it this far. Well, I just got a breaking news from the Epoch Times. I think I said it right the first time. That says Charlie Kirk dies after a shooting at Utah event. Trump says announced that Charlie Kirk died after being shot during an event at Utah Valley University on September 10th. The great, let me see if I can read more. This just came in from the Epoch Times. It says, the President Trump said that he was filled with grief and anger at the attack. So President Donald Trump vowed during an address on Wednesday evening that his administration will identify those involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, they're still investigating the shooter, but as he was making his speech, right as he was asked a question about how he felt about transgender shooters, that's when the shot came and hit him, and he did fall back. So the witnesses have seen him fall back on stage. He's dead. It's confirmed.
Well, what I just read was coming from the Epoch Times. I don't know if you guys rely or think it's a reputable source of information, but that just came in. I do have another super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. This super chat is from Nathan Taylor. Why are starseeds broke and alone? That's a good question. Because we have to understand what it's like to be human before our superpowers become activated, so that when they do, we could use them for good. Because if we would have been born with a silver spoon in our hands or into, wealth, we would have been very conceited. We would have been very probably greedy. It would have changed our perception of life. But the fact that we struggle sometimes, it actually humbles us when you think about it. But that's my explanation. But yeah, it's a good question, brother. Okay, Epoch Times is reputable, says Eileen Shore. Okay, well, according to the Epoch Times, he was shot. I think I'm going to be done for the evening, guys. It's been over an hour and 30 minutes. Again, I'm not going live Saturday, so I'll see you guys next Monday for a YHAT update. May the God Force be with you. For those that don't have Zelle or those that want to mail me, I do have a mailing address. It is 1771 West State Route 89A, Suite B, box number 3015, Sedona, Arizona 86336. All right. Well, may the God Force be with you all. And I'll see you guys next Monday for another update. And for those that are attending the Alien event in Vegas in the next few days, I will see you in person. Talk to you guys then.